AppGyver basics. We're going to be going through how to use the platform, how you can be using it for your project today. So come with me. Again, welcome everyone. Today we're going to be talking about all things AppGyver. Now, if you have never heard of this, there's going to be a link down below, but we're going to be talking about this platform, and this platform allows you to create apps without coding. And we're going to be looking at the pricing, the features, what you can do with this, and then we're actually going to be going through and building in just a few moments. So if you've never heard of AppGyver, this is a platform. It's a professional no-code platform that enables you to build apps for all different types of forms: mobile, desktop, browser, TV, and other. And we see that there are huge companies, just like moving companies like DHL, that use this and others to really build their business. Hey, what's going on, Garrett? Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. Yes, so we're going to be going into this and how you can be using this effectively, and we're going to be going through this. By the way, thank you so much for being here, audience, today. Thank you so much. So this is free. You can try it out, appgyver.com, for free. Now you can say, what's the pricing structure? Unless you're making over $10 million, it's free. So let me know in the chat if you're making over $10 million, then you're going to have to go to a paid plan. Other than that, this platform is completely free. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good right there. So we're going to be using this to show how you can be building apps. Now, what kind of apps can you be using? What can you be doing with this thing? Let's take a look. If I'm using AppGyver, I can be using this for a host of other things. So let's go with things that you can be using this. You can be using it for logic. You can be doing this building a native app. You can be using this for supply chains. If you're building a picture app, you can be taking pictures. You can do all different types of things. You can do things with GPS, all of these different things. Kara, yeah, I'll make sure to make that much money on this platform. That's exactly right. Go ahead and do it. You can do currency. You can do all different things with this platform. Okay. So just keep in mind that this is very versatile. The thing I would do as you're going into this is focus on what you need it to do, not getting lost in all of the different components that it can do, because this is really, really powerful and you can just get overwhelmed easily. So what I would do is write down on a piece of paper, if you're building an app, let me know what kind of app you're trying to build today. What are the challenges and what are you trying to get out of it? So imagine, why are your users going to be using this? Why do they need your app? Why do they need your website or whatever you're trying to provide? Okay. So keeping that in mind, we're going to sign up, start from the basics, and start building and showing you the components from here. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to log in, sign up. I'm going to log in real quick. I'm going to make a new project. I'm going to say create new. I'm going to say live demo app. Okay, so I'm doing this. I'm going to say default theme. I'm going to say create. And by the way, I think I have notes on this too. I just made a whole Notion doc if people want me to drop this in the chat. But what you're doing here is, imagine it's just like building a website or something like this. The components on the left side are things that you can drag onto the screen. This is what you're going to be seeing on your iPad, your iPhone, whatever. So I can change what it looks like from here, and then you'll see the dimensions. On the right side of the screen, you're going to be seeing details. So right here, when I click headline is right here, and then I can change the styles, I can change the typography, whatever. And then if I look at tree, this is showing me in a tier system of what's on the page, right? So I can switch it. You see how I'm like, okay, paragraph is here, I'm going to move it up here. It's just a progression of from the top of the page down what you're going to be seeing. Okay. Talk Virtual, thank you so much for being here, by the way. Talking about random app idea. It's Tinder for CBCs. Swipe to connect with people Tab one-on-ones. I like it. I like it. I like the idea. I like it a lot. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Erica, thank you so much. Oh, wait, we got all kinds of people coming in. Hold on. Thank you, Jeff. Good times. Everyone's jumping in. Let me know, Kara, did you make that? Have you already started building that out? Have you picked a platform? Let me know about the Tinder idea. Okay, so we have the basics. Left side, we have the components. Middle, we see what's going to be on our app. We have the properties and styles on the other side. And then what we do is we can actually build in logic right here. I'm going to show them the platform. Okay, cool. We'll go through. I have a couple options for you. I would then use a form over here. So you see how I have a component on this side? Let's go make a button. So I grab this, grab the button. The button's over here. And the layout, I can now change the layout, where it's going to be, the property. I can say my first button, right? But now that I have these two things here, I can then click the add logic to button one. I can click that. Now I get all of these details right here, and now I can just build in the logic. Here I can say open a new page. I can say, hey, let's make an alert. Let's do this. I bring over alert right here, and then I can add, if they tap this button, it says component tap. So that just means if I click this button, I can drag this over here to dialog. The dialog box, I'm going to say right here, and then I'm going to say, hey, you just clicked this button. Okay. So I just have that alert right there, and I can save it, and I can see if it runs. Now, how do I view this thing? I can go to launch right here. I can say open app preview portal. I'm going to say live demo. Okay, so this is full screen, but I can actually make it optimized for, like, mobile. And I can say, click this button. You see how it says, hey, you just click this button. Okay. So that easy that I just made my first automation, my first logic, and all of those things. That is the power of using AppGyver. And that's just one thing. And we'll go into more details. But you see how it's first deciding on what you want on the page, and then you can actually build out the logic visually instead of coding the whole thing. Wait, where's my... That's right. It can be that easy. You can do this. You can do this. Oh, yeah. I'm new to no code other than, Zapier. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so there's a couple things. You could use something like this. If I'm trying to do, let's see. Yeah. You can just do all that stuff. If I was trying to do something like where I'm having a lot of, like, I'm trying to build out something quick, like Tinder or something, I might use something like Glide Apps. And then I would look at templates. Let me do all templates. Let me see if I can say Tinder. I'll say dating or something. Yeah, swipe and match. So someone already has a swipe and match, and I'd probably just use theirs and then kind of go from there and use it if I like some of the breakdown of, like, the mechanics of it. And it's lightweight. Doing things with Glide is really easy. But if I was going to start something, I'd probably do something in Glide first and just use a template or make it with Glide. So Glide uses Google Sheets and in their platform. But if I was doing something more custom where I was, I wanted more control, I'd probably use something like AppGyver or Bubble. Yeah. But yeah, great question. Yeah. So when we're looking at this, and this was voted on, 44% of the Build It community wanted to do more about AppGyver. So this is why we're doing this one first. But if you have any other questions or you want me to show off another platform, let me know. But we're going to focus on this. But in the chat, let me know what you want to hear. So let's say we're trying to add more components or something like this. Keep in mind, because I'm adding these sections over here, I can add pictures, I can add whatever right here. But this is something pretty interesting about AppGyver, which I like. When you're clicking an element, when you're clicking whatever you're doing, on the right hand side where it says content, you see how it says headline right here? I can say like new headline, new headline. I have that. If I click this component button, it says currently bonded to. So I almost imagine this like Velcro if I bind something. So here I can bind it to a static value, or I can also bind it to formulas, data, or variables. So I can do a lot of things pretty easily when I'm binding something here. So I can say like if I have something else, I can bind it to certain data. So like available to all pages. So I can do app variables if something happens in the app. If there's something that's a variable or something that is available on a certain page, I can do page variable, passing data to one page or the other. This really allows you to think about what you want the app to do step by step, all visually without needing to code it by hand. This is what I love about it. So imagine if I'm looking at this, imagine this is like the skin of the app. This is just what I'm going to be seeing. Then if I click the variables tab, then I can change what the app is going to be doing in the back end. So I can be changing the app itself, what's happening on the page, the data variables to keep in mind, like what's this data? When almost every single app, you're going to have to be doing something with data. You're going to have to be storing data. So why is that important? Well, if you do any action, if you're writing in a Word document, if you're saving a picture, remember the data is still, the picture or words are still being saved. It's like going into a Word document and every time you had to start the Word document from the beginning instead of it having auto saves. That's the same thing. You have to set up your database of what information it's going to be saving. And so AppGyver allows you to create and configure the database that works best for you. Now, if you're not familiar with different databases, there's other platforms or different things that teach you about relations with database, but just keep in mind, all you need to know is you can set it up what kind of data, what kind of information it saves, basically. Okay. And you can decide on that. Good times. Good times. Excellent. 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 Okay. So, those are the basics. I'm going to be adding some other things, but what I want you to realize is this is page one. So let me do this for a second. Where's my Notion document? So I was working on this the other day. Let me switch over. Hold on one second. I've got to switch over to my Notion. I got way too many notes. AppGyver notes. Okay. So, and if anyone wants these notes, let me just share them in the chat if anyone cares. Copy these notes. I'll be coming out with a full version of these notes coming up. This might just help a little bit. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's go through this. Okay. So the notes I picked for AppGyver, it's breaking it down from left to right, like I told you, the components, visuals, styles and settings, logic, variables, data, and formulas. But this allows you to progressively see like what you need to be adding. If I'm deciding on creating this app, just like Kara was talking about in the audience, that like I'm trying to create a Tinder app, I'm trying to create this type of app, write down exactly what you would need to do. For example, I would need one screen to do X, Y, and Z. Then when they click the button, they're going to do this next thing. I need them to then, take a picture or do all of these things, right? You're going to write it out because then that's what you're going to be doing in AppGyver or any of these platforms. So for an example, let's go through this. I want to do a dating app to take a picture and save the picture to the phone someone is using. Something like that, right? So if I'm doing that, that's the first part. Let me just make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Turn into, let's just do a heading. So I'm doing that. I need a dating app. Okay. So I need a dating app. I need one page to come to, ask to take a picture. I need the picture to be taken. I need them to know picture was taken, and we'll start there. Something like that, right? So we know that it's going to be at least one page, We need one button. We need one action to take picture. We need one action to, alert that picture was taken. I probably need one action alert that picture didn't work. That picture didn't work. That's it for right now. Let's see if we could do something like that. Let's see if we could do that. Talk virtual. Talk virtual. Excuse me. Says thanks. You could make a book with all your Notion notes. Actually, someone was talking about. I think I might do something like called Doc, where it's all of my Google, all my Notion notes of like all the things that I do, all bundled. So that's pretty funny. That might be coming out. Okay, so we have that. Let's see who else we have. Can AppGyver? Colin says, can AppGyver make apps have the quality of UI? I see other apps make like $1. Okay, like app makers like $1. Okay, so that's a really good question. Collins is a real good question. Yes and no. So could you do this visually and make it look better? Absolutely. Is it going to take a lot more work? Yes, because you see when I'm with the headlines, the styles and everything, right now in version 3.0 for AppGyver, they do not have the level of templates, I think, that Adalo or even Bubble Adalo or Glide has, not Bubble. So it's a trade-off. If I'm going to look at very specifics and I need the visuals to be a certain quality and I like the composition of certain apps automatically, I am going to go more towards Adalo, especially for version 1. If I'm looking for more power or things like that, I'm going to go closer probably to AppGyver or Bubble, but it's a lot more work that I had to do visual. So there's a trade-off. Adalo, I will always say, and I think you've seen on this page, if anyone's watching this page, if you search on this YouTube channel, you'll see tons of videos that you know how much I love Adalo, and you know how much I really think their templates are really good. But based on what you're trying to create, based on the storage, the speed, what you're trying to do, there are clear limitations with Adalo, but there's limitations on every platform. There's pros and cons. So to answer your question, for an intuitive, a very easy way of doing styling, Adalo is going to be it, or Glide's going to be your main candidate. For power and more integrations, it's going to be more AppGyver or Bubble. But you've got to work a lot harder. Now, there is a hack. There is a hack that some people use with this, and that is they're using Figma as their mockup. So their mockup is exactly what they want it to look like. Then they will bring the same exact design because they know how it's going to be broken down into, and then they're going to bring it into AppGyver. So again, you can't copy it. It's not like a copy and paste from Figma. There's no integrations where if you make the mockup in Figma, it will then translate into AppGyver. There's nothing like that yet, but a lot of people just visually, they're like, I want it to look like this. I want these things here. So they'll build it in Figma, and then they'll put everything else in AppGyver. Collins, let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. Cool. Really good question. I get that question a lot. Could it look more beautiful? Yes, indeed. I wish it did. But at this point with Composer 3, they don't have the templates yet. I know Composer Pro 2, they did. But because this is an update, they did different things. the templates don't transfer into this new version? Good question. Okay, so we have this over here. What was I doing over here? Oh yeah. So I'm going to build this real quick. So we're going to look at creating this dating app. The first part, we're going to have one page, one button. We're going to make the actions, take a picture, alert if the picture was taken, alert if the picture was not taken. Let's see, One Room Media. Oh, look at this. One Room Media is in the house. Okay. Can I use Adalo to help me find all the good yard sales before everyone else does? That's up to you. I don't know what you do. It's possible. We might have to get some sources. Probably, it depends if you're looking on Craigslist or where you find all your shady yard sales. But wherever they, or maybe even just if it was on Facebook, the only problem is privacy. I can't grab most of that information and then bring it over because of Facebook security. But if it's on Craigslist or something like that, I bet we could aggregate all, so we could gather all of the details from different yard sales and have it into your own app. You could do that in Adalo, actually. That is actually true. Okay, so let's take a look at this right here. All right, let's do this one at a time. And we're going to time ourselves to see how fast we can just do this one little action. So you put a timer. All right, let's start here. I'm going to start with a new page. Oh, let me save this first. Good. Let's make a new page. Let's just say Tinder front page 1.0. I'm going to say, okay. I have this for the headline. I'm just going to say, welcome to not Tinder. I want to get sued. So we have that. We have the headline. We have the description right here. And could just say, I could just say like, take a picture of yourself or something. Take a picture of yourself right here. So then I'm going to bring a button over. The button is going to be called take your picture, something like that, right? So I could have that right here. I have this button. I'm going to, now what's in my list? One page, one button, one action, take a picture. Okay, so I'm going to click that button one, click up. It's going to say component tap. So remember, that just means I'm going to click this button. What's going to happen? I'm going to say take a photo or take a photo. So I'm going to link the two, take a photo. Now, what's going to happen? After they take the photo, what do I want to happen? I'm going to either alert them and say, number one, I'm going to say like success. Okay. I can also do another alert and then just say like it didn't work. But you know what? I'm thinking about confirm. Nah, I'll worry about that in a second. So the other one is right here. I'm gonna say it didn't work. Picture. User didn't take picture. Didn't take picture. Something like that. Okay, so right here, I'm seeing the events. It says, can you see that? Can everyone see that? Let me zoom in. Can I zoom in? Okay, cool. So you see where it says component tap, and then it says device, take picture, and then from the device, when it's taking a picture, what's happening? Either it worked or it didn't work, right? So we can have those different things. And that's just an example of how we could have it go from take picture to that. I can also, I can have it as confirm or things like that. But just keep in mind, you can add these blocks just like Legos, adding what's happening. Okay, so let's just say take pictures. So they click that button, take picture alert. Let's say save. Let's do that. Let's relaunch. Live demo. First button. Okay, so to do this, I've got to make the two pages talk to each other because this is on second page, so it doesn't know how to get here. Okay, so let's go on the first page. I'm going to make the first page go to the second page. So I'm going to say, instead of saying tap, here's a button, I'm going to say open page. Open page. I'm going to have it go to the second page. Open page. Let's see. Where's my second page? I'm going to say empty page right here, Tinder front page 1.0. So it's going to go to that page. So when it clicks it, it's going to go to that page. Okay, so now we're going to have that. Let's go back to launch. Let's launch this thing again. Open. Let me make it the size of an app again. First page, you see how now it's going to welcome to not Tinder, then take a photo. Now, the reason I can't do it right here is because it's only activating on browser. What I'm saying by that is because it's an action that only works in mobile, because I'm working on my Mac, it's not going to allow me to ask for the permissions to open my camera and everything. So keeping that in mind. So it's the button works. It's just, if I'm looking at this, if I really want to make sure this works, what I would do is I would go here and then download the preview and then be able to test it out on mobile. Let's see. Oh, I like this. Kara's talking about wonder. I like that. Wonder. I'm going to change it. Let's change that real quick. Okay, let me know if this makes sense. Let me know if this makes sense as I'm doing this thing. Let me go back. I'll change the name. Let's go back to Tinder. I'm going to say welcome to. Change the name right here. Okay, and then I can change it right there. Right? I save it. I can save it right there. Then we're good to go. Joe's talking about some shady yard sales. Mm-hmm. Yep. Wait a minute. Oh, Jay's saying, can you make this for me under $100? Under $100? What do you take me for? If you're watching this, just do it yourself. Save that money. I can't. What do you think? I'm working for $100? Trying to bamboozle me. I saw that. I saw that one room media. Trying to make me work for peanuts out here. So right here, we just went through the basics of what's going on. Now let's go back to the beginning. How long did it take us? Like 6 minutes, right? It took us 6 minutes. But the reason it works faster is I'm already writing out a to-do list, and then I can remember what to do faster than necessarily being in AppGyver. And then I'm really getting paralyzed. I don't know what to do. If I already have kind of a to-do list, what I need to do, this makes it a lot easier for what I'm trying to do. Yeah. Colin's saying it makes sense entirely. What I wanted to do was make a sort of Eventbrite type clone. So I wanted to use AppGyver because the cost of the other app builders are pretty expensive. Got you. Eventbrite. So you're kind of having people sign up for an event. They then get access to the event, either virtual or live, and then go from there. Something like that. If that's the case, it depends on what you want to do. Yep. Talk virtual saying, just say no to peanuts. That's exactly right. So it kind of depends. If I was going to do something that detailed with Eventbrite, you can definitely do something like that in AppGyver or in Bubble. So something like that at that level. Don't worry, it's just my camera. I'm coming right back. You can definitely do that with AppGyver or Bubble at that level. The issue I find is it depends on, is this an idea that you want to learn how to run your own, platform? You can totally make it lean, run all those things. If not, I'd probably just buy a white label or look at going somewhere white label and then just use it and then have the cost to the person that you're providing this for. So it depends. Are you trying to make an Eventbrite platform where other people use it, or are you going to be creating tickets and everything for different businesses, artists, things like that? And then you could just white label it and just say, hey, this is my own company. This is what I do. This is our platform. And then you run it from there. So it kind of depends on, again, like you're saying, funding, all those things, and how much building you want to do versus like sales. But AppGyver, you could definitely do that with the database and things like that. It depends on if you're trying to issue like a QR code, you're trying to do a bunch of other things with it. But in general, yeah, you should be fine with AppGyver. Yeah, pretty much with locations and stuff. Okay, so if you're doing it more location based, Erica in the chat, let me know, where was that thing? It was on AppSumo years ago. What was it? It was a ticketing system. Let's just see what's open right now on AppSumo. I'm going to say Eventbrite and try to see what I can find. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's not bad, actually. So, EventMe Pro. This is interesting. This is, you're going to have a little bit of coding that you need to do, but it's online, offline ticketing systems. I actually bought this. Totally forgot I had this. And so you can have unlimited users, events, ticket bookings, and everything like that. And you can actually have this, and this is totally white labeled and everything because you're just buying the license. So you can launch a self-hosted platform for event management, selling on your own domain. Yeah, and it's totally white labeled. So let me just throw this in the chat. But it depends. You'd still need to code a little bit, but I'd probably do that. Yeah, if you're doing location stuff, like you can do this. Now again, like you've got to, for this very specific style, you have to load it onto your own domain. You have to do things. So it does require some minimal coding skills to do this. But if you're looking for a price, I mean, it's 69 lifetime. If I'm looking to try to scale and everything like that, yeah. So this is probably like, it shows probably 49, 59 right there. But I bet that's like, I wonder if it's a one-time fee or if that's yearly. This one's lifetime, so I'd probably get it through AppSumo. Or maybe they're doing it even cheaper on theirs. I don't know. Yeah, you can use anything to have this thing. Yeah, it already comes with the packages to build this thing out. You're good to go, man. Collins, let me know if that works for you. Good question. Good question. So honestly, if I'm trying to do something like that, I'd probably do something very specific for events and just build out the ticketing system like that, than trying to build the logic and everything with a platform like Bubble or AppGyver. If I'm trying to do that. Now, if you're trying to learn how to do everything, okay, go from there. I'm not sure I know what a white label is. I'm from Kenya. Some terms are pretty new to me. No worries. So, white label is basically means that you are paying for the assets, you're paying for everything, and the association with the company is not shown because you're paying a license, you're paying for it, so you're getting the credit. It is, you do not need to mention it because you're paying for their database, their structure, and everything like that. So that's another option. It's totally legal. It's in the paperwork. That's why people buy white label. But you're paying for the license. You're paying for that asset, and then that's it. Good question. That's another video. I'm working on no code terms and everything like that. So I can start building out more on YouTube. So I think I might just make a small video about that. And I think, yeah, we're having another video drop tomorrow about that same thing. Okay, cool. All right, let's go back to AppGyver. Let's add a couple other things. So we just did some basic things. Let's go and talk about variables. So we just did the basics of adding a button, doing some things. Let's go back to the first page. Kara, does that make sense? Let me know. And then from over there, then I'm going to go from views to variables. From variables, now this allows me to do things on a very specific level, so I can change different things that happen on the page. So for example, I can say page variables. It says variables that can be read and written on a page. So anything to do with the page, the exact app page, the web page you're building first, you can do this. Then I can say add page variable. Here it says, what do I want to do? I can say variable one for page. Let me just add that can everyone see that? Let me do that. Yeah. Let me do this. Yeah. Might be a little bit better. Okay. So on the right hand side, you see how I'm changing variable one for page, variable value, right? So I can change whatever I want. True, false statements, date, text, whatever. I'm going to go with text. Example, I'll leave it right there. Initial, I'll just say that's fine. Okay. So I'm just making sure when things change on the page, it's going to have to do with text. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm going to say save. Okay. So now there's going to be a variable option to what I just made. Now I'm going to go back to view, and now I can assign that page variable to something else. Remember I said it was like Velcro, that headline or whatever. So I can literally have my headline. I click that, and then I can say content currently bonded to. I can change this, and I can say data and variables, page variable. And remember I just said that page variable, I can connect it now. And so now the preview is changing. So it's actually changing based on what page I'm on. So I click this, say save, and guess what? Look, it just changed that because now it's connected to that variable. So I can go back to that variable if I wanted to. Let's go back to page variable. I can change it, and I'm going to say I like pie. I like pie. I'm going to change that. Initial value. Is that too? I like pie. Change it. Save. Okay. I'm going to go back here. Variable. You see how it's set preview? I'm just going to say I like pie. Maybe as a preview, or maybe I'll just keep it blank. Save. Variable is blank right there. You can go back. I like pie. Save. Okay, so there's different things that you can be doing. Again, variables just mean that you can have other things be connected to. So things can change. Okay, why would you care about this? Well, if you are telling it, hey, I want it to say the person's first name, well, you can have them first input their name, input field, and you can say, hey, my name is John. So then every time up here, it will say, hey, John, nice to see you back, or something like that. So the variables can act because it understands the logic. It can now start changing what the page does. This can be if you start adding data, you can have updates, even if, like, say, for instance, you're watching the stock market. You can have, hey, if this happens, you could say, hey, John, like, your stocks are doing terrible today. Or, oh, something's happening with your stocks. Look at what's happening. You can change the language. You can change the text on what's happening. Let me know if that makes sense in the chat. But all you realize is all this is, let me say, I think I have it written down. What do I call this? Variables are just a tag. They're just something that you're tagging. So if you're like, this makes no sense to me, instead of just using the word variables, just think about its tagging. I'm tagging this as something about pie. I'm tagging this about a name. It could be name. So I could just say variable. I could just say name field. Okay, text right here. We're just going to say name field. Initial value. Here, save. All right, so it's right there. The page is right there. Change it over here. This one I changed the variable. Name field, set. Okay, we'll have that as a default. And then what I can say is input field. And I can say when I'm typing this, it's going to change the name field. So let's do this. And by the way, if you're having questions on this, this is all found in this section, adding logic to your app, logic flow functions, which I have videos, then adding variables right here. So I've created a bunch of these smaller videos for you as well. Let's see. Colin says, thanks, man. You have been really helpful. I appreciate it. I do want to sort of learn as well, a little knowledge. Never hurt anyone. If you have tutorials, I will visit them all soon. Yeah, definitely, Collins. Yeah, check out the channel. All the links are, if you look at Doc Williams, if you click the channel, You'll see all the videos that I make weekly. We put out about 2 to 3 videos a week, 2 videos, and then 1 live stream a week. So check it out. Let me know what you think. But definitely. Okay, cool. All right. So we have that. Let's see about this. Let me drop. Oh, people need this again. Let me drop it in chat. And this is systematically working through AppGyver from the different stages. So let me put this in the chat. Check it out. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so again, when we're using AppGyver, it really depends on moving with purpose. You're going to start with the basics on the left-hand side of the screen. Let me go over here. The left side over here, you're going to understand what you want to add to your app or your website. Then from here, you're going to be able to edit it on the right side of the screen. And that's how we get more advanced. So currently bonded to all of those different things, formulas. I can add formulas. I can do all different things if you know how to write formulas. I can do all of that on the right-hand side. So in my head, when I'm building this first, left side is more easy. Then I'm going to see what I like about it, change it based on the logic. Then I'm going to go over to refine it on the right-hand side of the screen. That's how I would do the workflow. I would do all of those things first. Then if I need another page, drop down, make another page, and make another page. Come back. Then I can launch it, preview it. And then I can look at my navigation if I need to. And then this is where the second part is building the database and all of those things. And then if I need to do authentication, but no need to talk about that yet. Okay, so let me know in the chat if this makes sense. Okay, so this is one way to build. If you're trying to say, okay, this is too much, I need the workflows, I need everything already kind of built in for me, Adalo has that. So Adalo, let me go back. Adalo already has a lot of these things built out for you. So if you're like, hey, I just want a coaching app, I want those things done for me, I want the workflows and the relationships already built, I don't want to think about building a database. Well, you can just clone a lot of their ideas and then just log in. And so, I mean, I can just sign into my account. I can click, hey, I want to create a new app. I can say, what do I want? A native app or a web app? I'm going to say native. I'm going to go here. And then this actually allows me to pick a lot of an app that I can start with. Now, you might say, well, I want to do a mixture of an appointment app, a chat app, and all. Yes, but think about one functionality first, and then you can always build more. But it's really important to know what the main functionality is, and then you build on to the app. So like say, for instance, I want a coaching app. I can do that. I can say next. I can say, yeah, I like those colors. I'm going to name it test coaching app. All right. So I do this. I can say create. And then just a few moments, you're going to see it already built out. You see how it already built out my logic for me? Let me zoom in. You see how the sign-in process is already there. They've already, and if you see these little lines where I'm highlighting, it's already built out the logic. Now, if we look at AppGyver on the other side, look, I have to tell it how to make the logic, what button does this, all of those things. As far as something like Adalo, guess what? They did all of the progressions for me. Pros and cons. So if I'm trying to build and I want to test the idea, I want something to look beautiful, I'm just getting started, I might go somewhere with Adalo. But there are limitations based on the database, the speed, and those things. But it does a lot of the heavy lifting of the visuals and doing everything like that. So again, pros and cons of what you want to do. But Adalo is a pretty good starting point. And again, just like how we did on left side, this allows me on left side, I can start building out and have this. But you look at this, it already built the database for me, right? So it's already done all of the heavy lifting versus when I'm doing something like AppGyver, it gives me more choices potentially, and I can be a lot more custom, but I have to really do a lot more thinking before I get started doing something like that with AppGyver. Also, too, let's look at the pros and cons. Adalo, it costs money, right? They're charging you monthly. With AppGyver, basically, you can be building on the platform for free until you make 10 mil. All right. So there's a big difference. The other compromise is I might first build in Adalo, understand what I like, and then bring over those elements, and then I might try to recreate it in AppGyver. That's always an option as well. Okay, so realize that you're always going to be making different versions, having different platforms potentially, but think about the purpose of how to get started. If you feel overwhelmed with AppGyver and you're like, I can't even begin to think about this, well, try another platform like Figma or Adalo to start getting your mind thinking about what you want. Then you have the designs, and then you can bring it over to AppGyver if you want later on. Or again, just like we were talking about with Collins, maybe there's something else that you might have to do that's very specific for your use case or something like that. So at the bottom, if I was just getting started, the biggest no-code tools, like if I was very, very new and I want to do something more web-based, I'm either probably going to use Card or Glide because they are the most user-friendly. I would use Glide apps and Card. If I'm trying to look for customization and I want to be basically, I call them like taking over the world things, that's closer to Bubble and AppGyver. So just keeping that in mind. And again, depending on where you are, pricing, Glide can start for free, but if you're doing a lot of more advanced things, it's going to be starting at 32 a month. So keeping that in mind. If I'm doing something with Adalo is the same way. You can do a lot, but again, there's a free plan, but a lot of the things you're going to do cost money. So I would either have the concept, have it done in Adalo, start on the free plan, make sure I get commitment, start making money, and I can upgrade it, or I understand what I'm going to be doing with my app, and then I transfer it over to AppGyver later on. Yeah. Let me know if that makes sense. Okay. Cool. Yeah, guys. So again, this was a lot of people. It was in the chat. And by the way, in the community feed too, if you subscribe and you go to the community tab, you can vote. I think you can vote even without subscribing to the channel. But if you like this kind of stuff, let me know. I'm going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be adding more videos. You're going to be seeing a full 15-minute breakdown of how to use AppGyver from start to finish. So you see the difference, adding things like that. But this is really for you. Let's see, Mr. Kaufman, how about a quiz funnel to image upload? How about a quiz funnel to image upload? Let's see about this. Quiz funnel to image upload. What would I use? What would I use to, yeah, I would just probably use Paperform. If I'm going to build that and then have logic, paperform.co, paperform.co. And then if I'm going to do something where it's very specific to quizzes or something like that, it's more expensive. But if I'm trying to build something like BuzzFeed or something like that, I would probably do outgrow.co. It's kind of expensive. So for the majority, uploads and all those things, Paperform. Paperform. Yep. Perfect. Great question. Let me add this, by the way. Hold on. Where is my, I have too many. Where's my links? Links for brand. Favorite. I know I brought it over on my other one, but just in case if you want to use it, where is my Paperform? Yeah. Let me put that in the chat. Mr. Kaufman, yep. That's my affiliate link if you want to use that. And then outgrow.co. I'd use that as well. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. All right, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow. There's going to be more content coming up soon. And yeah, is Paperform better than Rise? It is definitely better. Definitely. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know if you like this kind of video, if you want to see more. We will be back, and have